Module 4, Post-Sentence Judicial Monitoring. Video 2, Conduct of Judicial Monitoring Reviews. Part 2. Topic 1, Attendance of Community Corrections Officers. Magistrate Fanning always requires the supervising community corrections officer to be present in court for judicial reviews. It is possible to conduct a review with a written report only, but in the experience of Magistrate Fanning, often the discussion at these reviews is more limited without the presence of the community corrections officer. Topic 2, Conduct of Judicial Monitoring Reviews.
Well, even though I'm sitting at the bar table and they're sitting across the bar table and they might have a friend or relative with them, it is still stressful for most people to be sitting there. It's a powerful environment though, because they're sitting with a judicial officer who asks them questions, even open questions, but they're still asking them direct questions. So they're understandably mostly nervous. Some people aren't, but for the most part they are. Issues or topics such as their family and their health and topics of that kind are more easy to talk about rather than their drug habits or their taking of heroin or any contact they might have had with the police, that is any other offending. Topics that they're more comfortable about discussing, just like anybody is, are often the better ones to commence with rather than the more difficult topics, which should never be avoided because it should be an honest communication. It's not just about having a relationship with the person or being nice to the person. That's really not very effective. In the end, you have to tackle the difficult issues as much as the issues that are positive and where the person is doing well. Can't avoid where people are not doing well, and can't avoid when people are looking very unwell and looking as if they're using heroin or other illicit substances. And I will talk to them about that and express to them that they appear to be using or something, is there some other health issues that is affecting them today because they're looking so unwell. Expressed in a way that is honest and direct without being overly confronting or certainly aggressive, almost always elicits a productive response.
Topic 3, Role of Judicial Officers.
My role in the judicial monitoring is to encourage, support the person in their work in addressing the underlying causes of their offending. It's really that simple. So it might be dealing with their drug issue, it might be dealing with the fact that they have a great deal of time on their hands and they feel worthless and unproductive and useless, and so they might as well just continue with their drug taking. So I then might turn to looking at employment or training. So it's really exploring those topics or issues that have resulted in them or caused them to be offending in the first place and perhaps continuing to offend into the future. So the emphasis on the factors or the drivers of their offending, that is central to the discussions that occur and what I see my role in judicial monitoring. It's not just having a friendly conversation, or it's not just having being engaged with the person. It's directed and it's purposeful at endeavouring to assist them, encourage them and emphasise as well as look for opportunities where other services could perhaps be engaged, or more work could be, or other work could be done by community corrections that perhaps hasn't been explored to date, to assist that person in having a different life, really. And it's always surprises me, or regularly surprises me, how things flow, or what comes out in those discussions.
Having the same magistrate who sentenced the person appearing before the court conduct judicial monitoring reviews provides a consistent approach to the person. Consistency of magistrate also enhances the accountability of the person to the court, and it is generally a more efficient use of judicial time from the perspective of the judicial officer.
You see the role of the judicial officer there, and the authority of the judicial officer is adding to what may have been missing with just the correctional officer doing it. And that's what the literature shows, that it's the judicial authority and imprimatur to this that can make a difference.
I think that makes a difference to the person, and it also makes a difference to corrections. I think they feel a value in having the things that they've asked for being reinforced by the judicial officer, and the person who's on the order also gets a sense of how important some of those steps are.
Right.
I think the role of the judicial officer is very powerful, and you know, there's not that role with the corrections officer, and they don't have that authority. So we can use our authority for good and to encourage the person. And I mean, a lot of these people have never had any awards or encouragement in their lives, and to actually be able to come into court with their heads held high and say,